Hey, third grade. Welcome back from spring break. It's your art lesson for spring week 11. Before we begin, you're going to need your STEM journal, in part to check your notes, but also to take some new notes. You're going to need your sketchbook or the picture of the frog that you created, and you're going to need a pencil and paper and coloring supplies. So, an expedition review. Your guiding question has been amazing adaptations or freaky frogs. The connection that we're making from art to yours is that you have been learning about frogs, all types of things about frogs, and you created, a new frog. This time we're going to go into what it does during the day. Your learning target. I can use the knowledge I learned last semester to brainstorm a completely new species of frog. The design process. In the design process, art is empathize. We help you make a special connection, a personal connection to your subject, which in this case are the frogs. So we're going to do something called a day in the life of. You're going to think about what your frog, the one that you created, does during the day. And you're going to write down 2 sentences for each part of the day. Then, once you've got all that brainstormed and figured out, you're going to draw a picture of your frog, the one that you created, doing something during the day. This is a different picture than the one where we just illustrated our frog. This time our frog needs to be doing something. And I'm also I've got some poses for the frogs to look at after the explanation, so don't go too far. Also, I do want to let you know that all of this information is going to be on a Nearpod attached to your seesaw lesson, so you can go back and you can look through these at any point in time. So, you're going to write about a day in the life of my frog. You're going to write 2 sentences about each section. So that's going to be 6 sentences total. You can do more. And you're going to be coming up with what your frog does on a normal day. What does your frog do in the morning? Is this when your frog wakes up? Does it eat a breakfast or does it still sleep? Where does it sleep? Where does it eat? Think about these types of things, what you want your frog to do. Then you'll write 2 sentences. It can be about whatever you think your frog does in the morning. What does your frog do during the day? Does your frog have a lunchtime? Is this the time where he starts to wake up or does he sleep all day? If the sun is out and it's very hot, what does your frog do about that? What does your frog do during the day? Does he go swimming? Does he eat? These are the types of things to think about. And the last section, what does your frog do at night? What happens when it starts to get dark? Does it go to sleep or is that when it actually wakes up? How does the night change your frog and its habits? So, once you've got all those things figured out, pick the one that you like the best. Pick the part of the day that you think your frog is doing something the most interesting, and you're going to do a rough draft picture of that frog, of what your frog does during that time of the day. Let's look at some poses of frogs doing things. So here we've got 2 examples of a frog that's jumping. One where it's jumping out of the water, and another one where it's jumping into the water. So this is the kind of pose that you could look at for your frog. I also find it very interesting. Guys, look at these long legs. That's why I said those legs are kind of complicated to draw. Their legs have to be really long because they can jump so far. This is another little clip art about frogs and how they jump. So you can look at this for inspiration too. Here's 2 pictures about frogs when they are swimming. I would say that this frog on this side is probably in the process of moving his legs, where this frog is just kind of floating and hanging around. He might be waiting for a bug or something to come nearby. Here's some pictures of frogs that are croaking. So Our frog on the left has that big part underneath his mouth where his jaw is, or his throat is, excuse me, where he can croak. But the other frog has those two cheek pouches where he croaks. And then we've got frog poses of the frog eating a bug. You could draw your frog about to eat his dinner or whatever. So these are the kinds of things that you could look through. Today, the most important part is to come up with what your frog does during the day. So if it takes you this entire time to come up with those 6 sentences or even more, that's fine. We're going to work on our picture a few more times too. So we're not rushing through everything. You don't have to finish it all today. I'll see you next week.